Hi, everyone. Are you able to hear me online? All right, we are just experiencing a bit of a technical difficulty in our venue, but we will start soon. So, giving the sound thing. What is this? We must just arrange that they come in today. All right, welcome everybody. I do know that many of the students are still making their way back from class, but we appreciate those of you who walked in this scorching. Sorry for those of you who are concerned about complexion. Today is not your day, né? And the sun is gonna move you to the other side of the spectrum. The natural yellow bones in the room. You might just get a tan this afternoon, but I think this is perfect weather for us. We are discussing all things academic support this afternoon. If you have not been acquainted with SecureTheGrad, these are the faces behind those emails that say, SecureTheGrad, please come to our webinar. So I am Evodia. I host all the SecureTheGrad webinars. This is my lovely team. They'll quickly introduce our lovely guests. The team is right there. And as you have it, you know, with Murphy's Law, as you have it, technology gave us a bit of a trip this afternoon, but we do have technical support and standby that will be assisting. For our audience online, I'm going to project my voice, so don't worry, I'm not shouting at you. I'm just making sure that our audience online is able to hear me. All right, so I'm going to ask that our guest speakers introduce themselves in a second. Quickly going to tell you why we do this. So at the University of the Free State, let me see in the room, who's first year? Okay, you first year, the rest, non-first year. Right, so we spoke to a few, and when I say a few, 130 to 180 students a couple of years ago, and asked them to explain to us their student journey at the University of the Free State. What are things that made them feel supported? What are those things that they feel hinders the success? You know, where are areas where they don't feel supported? And guess what the first year said? Support galore. Like the moment we register, there are the mentors, there's the arts people, those who live in the res, there's the whoever, like the tutors are there, the class reps are there, your parents are there, the community is there, there's just everybody on your case, right? And then we spoke to the seniors and we had a completely different story. Seniors said, after year one, it's like everybody said, right. You completed my words, meaning that you feel what the rest of the seniors felt. They felt like there was no support. And I'm like, how? But there's tons of support for everybody at the university, not just first years. But seniors felt the support wasn't there. They felt a lack of belonging. They felt we don't know who to speak to when we want to change our courses. Maybe I'm in law, but I realized after test 2, I don't want to be a law student anymore. I don't want to be a lawyer. I see a few smiles. Just look straight in the room and act like I'm not talking to you. And some of them said, okay, I also realized that I want to live on campus, or it's no longer multiple choice. Now it's essay questions, it's case studies. I don't know how to study for those. Where do I get help? I don't know time management. Where do I get help? I figured out that I write slow in my tests. My doctor said I've got a learning disability. Who do I talk to? How does the library even work? Can I sleep there 24 hours? You know, there were all these questions by senior students and they did not know who to speak to. And we felt that, guys, the support is here. So then #STG came to the rescue, everybody. So we then launched SecureTheGrad to bring these people that you need to talk to in one central space. But we also realized it's not good enough to say, visit the website, because some of the language, it dribbles me. And guys, I've been a first year since 2007, okay? I am not that old. But I did my first year in 2007 and I'm still studying. Don't worry, I'm not a first year student anymore. But I need to finish my studies by now. So what we then realized is that we need conversations like this to clarify what do they actually do if you say I must go to a tutorial, if you say I must talk to an advisor, if you say I must speak to a librarian. Let me have a man-to-man conversation. And yesterday being International Women's Day, let's have a woman-to-woman conversation about what this means and speak my language so that I can understand and create a platform where I can ask questions about things that are not clear on the website or that I couldn't ask in the meeting. So that's why SecureTheGrad exists. So next time you get an email that says, join the webinar, I hope you're going to click on that register here link. And also in our webinars, you know that we don't just give water. Like I said, we're going to have a giveaway at the end of the webinar. So do engage those who are asking questions, those who are engaging, meaningful engagement. We will be giving away prizes also to incentivize the fact that you came here. And we know you had a lot of important things to do, like nap. So that is just in a nutshell what we are about. As I said, we have an exclusive event at the end of every year that is by invitation only. So for our loyal SecureTheGrad people, we will be giving you an invite. Who will be at that event? To invite industry giants, so you get to network with CEOs, CIOs, HR managers, entrepreneurs, and other students, as well as your lecturers. In that event, it's only for 80 people. So you know those by invite only. So we do one of those events. And then before we get into the news, next week, who knows about O-Day? Oh my goodness, they don't know about O-Day. I think I'm going to pack my laptop. If you don't know about O-Day, I'm getting heart palpitations. O-Day is the ultimate shutdown. What is the ultimate shutdown? We realize that classes have started, and you'll soon realize if you're a law student that tests have started. If you don't know, I'm very concerned about you. Tests have started, and we know that it gets tricky for you as a student. It's test after test, after assignment, after boyfriend breaking up, after bad news. And we don't want your university experience to just be trauma after trauma. So we're going to be having an event where all these people are going to be there. Postgrad school is going to be there. Career service is going to be there, helping you with your CV. I hope you still don't have that table with language. This will speak well. If you do, we're going to help you, don't worry. We're going to help you get a profile on LinkedIn. We're going to have the cheetahs there. Yeah, like nice people there with vessels. And we're going to be giving away tickets to O-Day, the evening part. So with the evening part, we have Stino Letwini, 20, I don't know, guys, they're not my vibe. But clearly they are your vibe. We're going to have artists there, performance, we're going to have drinks, we're going to have everything. So come through, the tickets are free, but you must come to the 17 afternoon session, which is between 12 and 3 at the bridge, Takaning Bridge, so you can come collect your ticket and interact with the support services. Now that I have all those announcements out of the way, we are going to introduce our guests. Okay, Bonolo? Okay, I'm just going to give our IT colleagues the opportunity to move around, and then we're going to introduce our guests to you. Yeah. Can say that so that I can just introduce them. Yeah, otherwise we can also use that door. Okay. It's fine. You can say most. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to start on that side. Ask everyone to introduce ourselves. Who are you? Tell our guests who are you, what do you do at what's your role at the university, and then we'll move through each and every one of our guests. Let's start that side.
Okay, I'm sitting down.
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charity Harrison. I work at the Disability Center for Parts, based in the Sasol Library. It's the art gallery that people seem to miss, and we are based there. I worked with the cohort of students who are deaf and hard of hearing. That's my specialty. But we also have different staff members in the unit working on different disabilities. I didn't want to say when I was a COFC because in 2007, what are they going to say with me? That's not. Okay. But I've been a COFC, so my heart is here, my passion is here, and like they say, my name Charity begins at home. So I'm fixing this place to make it accessible for everyone. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome, Charity, and I look forward to our conversation for the rest of the day. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Ola. Some of you might have seen
It is.
at level 3.
No, that's I always come back.
At the moment, and at level 5 at the interlibrary loans. So there we just request books for postgrad students and researchers, books from other universities or articles. So yeah, I look forward also to the conversation this afternoon.
Awesome.
Welcome, thank you.
So I'm now noise, not no noise.
I was struggling to pronounce your surname. I'm like, no noise. So you write it, no noise.
You write it, no noise, but don't pronounce it that way. And I am a consultant and a mentor for the WriteSite. I'm also a literacy assistant for the EALD. We facilitate the EAL courses. So I do EAL H for the second years. And yeah, that's me. I've been here. I'm not too long. It's been that long, but yeah. So I look forward to the conversation.
Awesome. Welcome.
Hi everyone, my name is Dineo Kwase and I'm the program coordinator for the tutorial program, but only on the Bloemfontein campus. I Charity saying that you can be able to find the offices in the library. And the nice thing about the tutorial program is that in every single faculty, there is a face there for you to speak and interact to the coordinators on that side. I've been in the UFS all my life, I think. Not as long as Charity and Ebonia. That's the benchmark, but like I think I speak, I eat, I breathe student support. That's my passion in what I do. I also look forward to just interacting with everyone, getting to know you guys and what you need.
Awesome. Thank you. So what you don't know, Chloe is also a blogger. Okay. Who's a blogger in the room? How many of you blog? Nobody. Guys, but you know what? We've got the serious people here. We're all about academics, right? Thanks. So I'm trying to vlog. So those of you who are content creators, come help me. I struggle. But please also follow us on Instagram, #SecureTheGrad, as well as YouTube. We're also on YouTube. So all our webinars that you've missed, you can catch them on YouTube. They are available there for you. And let's get our conversation on the road. So I'm going to start with the right site. So no, if you maybe can talk to us, Neo. My team is probably laughing. They warned me that I must get everyone's names right. Tell the students a bit about what you guys do, what is the right side, and what you guys do at the right side.
Right, so at the right side, anyone can come, an undergrad student, an honor student can come through, and they come through with their assignments, essays, any other written tasks as well. So we help you guys understand what it is that you have to do, or if you have had any issues while you're compiling your essay or your assignment, then we deal with those, right, through that session. So we're just basically there to improve your writing skills and also make sure that you get those 5 marks that the lecturer say you must come to the right side for, right? So it's that extra marks, but also to improve your writing in general, because you do leave there with some skills when it comes to your writing. Not even some, but like a whole lot that you can then transfer into your other disciplines as well, not just for that assignment or that essay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if let's say one of us books a session with you, take us through a typical session. What happens? So I say, here I am, I need to speak to a consultant, then I pitch. Then what?
Okay, so you walk through the doors. Hopefully there's somebody to greet you at the door. Hopefully it's also your consultant. So you give us your name so that I can tell you, okay, you're with me or you're with somebody else that is waiting for you in the same slot, right? We have such intimate setting in there. So you're literally going to sit next to me. It's a one-on-one consultation. Sit next to me, and from there, I'll just make you feel welcome. If you're nervous, we're both nervous because we haven't met each other, but you're more nervous than me because it's your first time there. I'll ask you how you're doing. If you've been having tests the whole week, you'll tell me about that, just to allay your fears and to calm down. Some people do that while they are still taking out their papers and their notepads and whatnot. So that's just about 5 minutes of that. And from there, then I'll ask you, what was your assignment about? Or, and then that's when you go on a roll, right? You start telling me, I had to do this, I had to do that. From there, then I'll ask you, what did you struggle with while you were compiling this? From there, we are jotting down an entire plan for us to go through the session so that I know which areas to focus on when it comes to your assignment and your writing in general. From there, then the last 10 minutes is where you have to do the evaluation. But hopefully within those 45 minutes, we would have gotten through all your grievances, all the things that you were worried about when it comes to your assignment. Yeah. And even more maybe, because within that session, you are asking questions, I'm asking questions. You get to understand, well, I also get to understand where you are. All right. Yeah, I think after that, it's just evaluation and you're good to go. Hopefully you've learned something that you can transfer to other assessments as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So so is there anything the student needs to prepare before they come to you? Yeah. So they book their session, do they have to prepare anything?
Yes, please do. Sometimes, because the first year students really don't know what is going on, they just come there with, I really didn't understand what I was doing, right? So we'll take it from there. But in booking a session, you have to submit or send through rather the instructions for whatever assessment you had, right? Plus, you also have to attach a draft. At least you should have started somewhere, even if it's just a paragraph, okay, right? You have to have started somewhere, just the first draft. Some people submit the entire thing. If it's an assignment, all 5 pages. If it's an essay, all 2 pages, and it's okay, right? So I have to have something to work with before I see you. Sometimes we do get blind assignments where a person will just walk in and then we take it from there. It's also, but that is more with the first years. But once you get second, third year, you have to submit your first draft.
All
right. So from there, then we work on those. And yeah, those are the only 2 things, the instructions and your draft.
So how do we book? Do we walk up there at CTL, write our names on a register, or what's the process of the session?
Have you guys been to the right side? Anyone that's been heard of it?
Okay, so
We have heard of it? Yeah, you've heard, right? So you go onto Blackboard. It's a free service. So you go on Blackboard, go to organizations. You've seen the organizations tab, right?
Yeah.
When you click on it, then you will see where it says RightSite. Once you get there, you select your module, the year that you are in, second year, third year, first year, even honors, right? And then you can choose the module code that you are there for. Right. I think at some point you're able to choose who you want to see. Some people are there for quite a number of times, so they already know who they want to see. Sometimes it's just your time slot, right? But then maybe you're available between 1 and 2 and you want to come through, then you get a consultant that is then free within those 1 hour. It's just an hour session. From there, then, like I said earlier, that is the first step, right? After you've registered, then you have to email us your details. Also, these are your the draft and the instructions, right? So you have to email it to us, making use of your UFS email address, right? So you're emailing us at the RightSite at ufs.ac.za. Okay, so you email your instructions and that draft that you want us to work on. But you also have to include your name, your surname, your student number, the module that you're coming through for, as well as your cell phone number, just in case we need to contact you, all right? And then after that, you'll wait for a confirmation email. With the confirmation email, it gives you the time, who your consultant will be. Obviously, you're going to get there already knowing you're going to see Neo, right? You just don't know how Neo looks, but you know, if you get there 1 o'clock, Neo is there. Like I said in the beginning, you might just get somebody at the door that you're not there to see. Then they will direct you to where Neo is. All right, as long as you know who you are there for. And also this has to be done, guys. Sorry, this is the first thing I had to mention. It has to be done 2 days before your actual booking. All right, because there are so many people or so many students that book. So in order to get a perfect time slot for yourself or a suitable one for you, make sure that you book 2 days prior to the actual appointment that you want.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Sounds simple enough. Right. Okay. So now I mean, you've worked. How long have you worked for the right side?
It's 4 years now.
4 years.
Yeah.
And that's quite a bit of time. I want to ask you if you can talk to us about, so maybe in your experience, what would you say are common mistakes that we make as students in our writing process?
In the writing process. So first things first, sometimes the person really comes there not fully understanding what it is that they have to do. Sometimes it's a matter of I understood, but you might have missed another part of the instructions that your lecturer said you must focus on. Maybe you only focused on one bit and not on the second bit within the instructions, right? So having looked at your assignment or us sitting there, I might point out that you only focus on one of this part and not, and so this is a common mistake that then happens. So that is why the very first thing that we do is make sure that you understood what you had to do, right? By going through the instructions. Another thing is the fact that people do not necessarily understand the purpose or the audience that they are writing for. So from the instructions, that is then what we also so we take a good maybe 10 minutes just pulling apart that instruction, because from there then you'd understand that a person didn't have a main point in their assignment, or they didn't have a main argument that you would get from us just speaking and breaking down that assignment first. Okay, so the second part, the third part actually then would be the fact that people don't necessarily have a main point in their assignments. If you do have it, then I'd ask you to identify it to see if it is actually what your main point or the argument is. And if you don't have it, then we actually do work together to make sure that you formulate that main idea or that main point that you're going to be supporting throughout your essay. All right. Some things is that people don't necessarily follow the conventions of text structure. So you just rambling throughout your paper. There's no structure, there's no beginning, there's no discussion, there's no conclusion.
We write as like we talk.
You know, so most people just have the discussion part. You don't take your person through the introduction of what I'm going to do in this assignment. You don't also wrap up what it is that you were saying in your entire, so you only just have the body, right? So convention of a text, that is also some of the main issues that we then face while we are sitting there. And yeah, just making sure that you've paraphrased and that the information that you're including in there actually supports your main argument. Yeah.
I've been here since 2007 and some of this news is new. I can understand why my supervisor struggles with me. So I tend to write concise. And with the master's thesis, you sort of have to elaborate. So often in emails, because I write a lot of emails because of my work, I studied statistics. So in statistics, we didn't really have written assignments. It's formulas and then just one line to conclude. So I struggled a lot. I had to write for my final economics exam a 3,000 word essay. So I didn't know where to start. And as you say, I was writing the way I would speak, just like this. And then I moved on to honors, which was a nightmare I don't want to talk about. And now I'm trying to put down this master's for good. And my supervisor keeps on saying, wrap up, you leave the reader hanging. And she says, it's like you dress someone, but you don't put shoes on the outfit. So it's, you start with the head, you dress the body, but your feet are not, yeah, so it's like this. So it's very interesting. Because Newa has a class to go teach, we're going to open up our Q&A section now already and ask if any of you have a question for Newa while she's here. There's one hand, there's another hand, there's another hand. Okay. So let's take these first three hands. Please introduce yourself and then go ahead with your teacher voice.
Hi, Noah. My name is Todva. My question is, does it help for us to send you our whole draft beforehand when we're doing the assignment?
It does. It really does. If you're comfortable with sending the entire draft, then perfect. But if you just had a few paragraphs in there, also send it through. We'll work with what we have, with what you have, and then develop it once you get it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hello.
Hi.
I wanted to ask, is it one module per division or can I bring 3 function in the
Okay, so you remember I said you choose a module that you're coming for, right? So it's that for just for that one module. You can make as many bookings as you can if once you've attended for that one session. So you can come through for the other two as well. All right, is that good? Okay. And then there was another one there.
I don't think much is a matter of the question, but it's a matter of constant engagement and exposure. Like, for example, I've been here for a while and it's my first time hearing it.
The right side, yeah.
So I think that it would be the constant engagement is really helpful, especially like when we get to postgrad, it comes with a bit of a problem,
Yeah.
right? Because the expectations from supervisors for us to be write a research papers and really would have a background of that because I'm from a module where I had calculations, it's theory where I had to write like 1,000 word essay.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how to start an introduction. So I think a bit of exposure also from the start of the episode, okay, on the screen we have this program for you guys. Basically going to be giving you a background into how do you write a research paper, how do you so I think mine is a bit of advice.
Yeah. Because in most cases, some lecturers do approach the right side to say, can you please come through and give our students a workshop on how to then, for example, write a research paper. Then there's an entire workshop there where it obviously will be pertaining to what it is that you're writing about. So we do have lecturers coming to us to say, can you please have a workshop for us, for students that don't have exposure to research papers. Yeah.
I'm just want to note 1, 2, 3, and then quickly questions online. Dimpo is asking, Dimpo says she has used WriteSite before, and that was years back. I think Dimpo is one of the 2007 gang. I wanted to use it for my honors, but apparently they don't proofread. Could you perhaps follow up on this later? So Do you proofread for honors students?
It's not necessarily proofreading, but with honor students, we work mostly with essays again and assignments.
Okay.
And for your research papers, honor students then have to contact the Center of Graduate Support. Yeah. So that's for the bigger, the intense papers, the research papers.
I think that also answers Dimpo's question. So for those of you who are, we had invited the Center for Graduate Support, but unfortunately they couldn't join Paul. So for your research papers, those of you are doing honors, and I know LLB, in the final year, you also have to do a mini dissertation. The Center for Graduate Support has mentors. Able to hear me. There you go. My aspirations to becoming. So just want to highlight that for those of you who are doing honors, the Center for Graduate Support has introduced a mentoring system or support where you can apply to get a mentor to help you. I'm going to take it up. I just don't know when, but please look out for emails. If not, you can email them after this webinar to everybody that has attended. We'll send out information. So please look out on your email for details for graduate for center support. Otherwise, I think you can email them at cgs@ufs.ac.za, that those details will be shared with everyone. And then just in terms of the WriteSite, we do have the details. You can also call them on 051-401-7234 during office hours. It's 7:45 now. 7:45 to 4:30 to 4 o'clock. 4:30, yeah. I know who your line manager is, someone who's work at home. And if you're on the Kotla campus, those of you online, you can call 058-718-5356 or email simangati@ufs.ac.za. But those of you online, the details are there for you. So yeah, I think those are all the questions we have. Let's take questions in the room. Amy, if you can help me, maybe roll the mic.
Hi,
Hello.
my name is Ayana. I wanted to ask, how long does the information letter take?
Email.
For
Yeah.
example, if I book on Monday, will I get a response within the week? And then
Yes.
have a session within the week?
Within the week, hence I'm saying 2 days before. So you might get a booking on a Tuesday or on a Wednesday, depending on the availability of consultants rather, and your time slot as well. All right, so it takes about 24 hours to get back to give you a confirmation email as well.
Thank you.
All right, nice.
There was a hand gentleman there and then a lady at the back. Yeah, Amy, there.
Hello there, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. I'm doing my honors in industrial psychology. It was a similar question to the one that was online, so I'm sure if I should still ask it, but if we have problems with our research proposal, would we come to the right site or would then we go to the postgraduate?
It is the center for, it's still the Center for Graduate Support, yeah.
Okay, so you're more help with stuff like essays or?
Your
Yeah.
assignments in it, but I think, yeah, we've dealt with research reports, but Center for Graduate Support is your go-to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Daniel. Okay. Noted. See you.
Oh, you want to see me?
Yes. We don't talk to strangers at STG.
Okay, my name is Itumele and I'm doing my master's this year. So I've been attending WriteSite during my my undergrad.
Yeah.
Yes, so it really helped me a lot. I just want to emphasize the use of WriteSite since the gentleman said he was doing more calculations and now he's more into literature and all that. So I was a tutor and for second year and it happened. It happened that because I always emphasize that students must go to WriteSite. And I've noticed that some lecturers, they don't make a WriteSite like important. they just give learners assignments, do the assignment, and they don't tell them to go to WriteSite. So I think there's a gap. I think maybe lecturers should really make sure that students, they go to WriteSite before writing the assignment, because it's really useful. I used to get 60s for my assignments. So after going to one session, I got 75 at one. So I kept increasing and increasing. So WriteSite is very useful, guys, especially first year. So with the second years that I was tutoring, so it happened that they sent assignments to me because I was telling them that the structure and all that. So when they sent me the structure, I saw that they're really, I couldn't really believe my. Yeah, so I think students should really go to WriteSite. They should, please make sure that even tutors, they emphasize WriteSite.
What's your name again?
Sorry?
What's your name again?
Itumeleng.
Tumeleng, did they pay you?
No, it's really important. Like I want students to really secure the grade. So yeah.
Yes. Tim, please make sure that Tumeleng is not on the payroll. I'm kidding. But that's really, and that's why we bring it here, because we know that we have seen through research that it does have a significant impact on students' academic performance. One last question, and then we need to let Leo go to the class.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rebecca. I just want to comment on WriteSite. During COVID-19, it was difficult for us to do our assignment. I didn't know about the WriteSite until I saw an email, and it took time to write an email, booking an appointment. And believe me, the service was so nice. People were so friendly. I never had time to meet this consultant, but I think I was assisted twice by a person called Senazo Mabono and even Mrs. Hayne or something. So I'm very grateful. I just want to comment and say thank you. Keep up the good work.
I hope you brought your people. But Leo brought her people. There's an online audience that needs to hear you.
So I want to ask if I'm given an assignment, right? And I don't understand everything about the assignment. Can I just send you like just the assignment and not the draft? Because like I absolutely like don't understand anything.
Yeah.
And in that session, do you clarify the questions for me or what happens?
All right. So yeah, like I said earlier, even if it's just a paragraph, even if it's something where you were rambling, it's fine, just a paragraph, but the instructions, yes, perfect. And then in that session, you let me know, you know what, I really did not understand anything. And then we'll pull apart that instruction until you understand it. Yeah?
Good. Yes, we have a follow-up.
So I just wanted to ask again, hi, I'm Tova again. Are the consultants faculty-based, or is it just anybody who is willing to help?
Okay, so if you want, not necessarily, we don't work with content, let me say that. We do not work with content, we work with your structure and how then your work flows, right? In most cases, you'll be teaching us about whatever you came through with, but I need to know that I can follow what you're saying. So for a person that doesn't know what you're writing about, can I understand what you're saying, right? So yeah, not necessarily content. So you're going to get a person maybe from a psychology background teaching you with an LLB, what you call this? Paper. Yeah, but it's more structure, making sure that your work flows and I can understand, even though I do not have an LLB background. Yeah. Interesting.
Okay, ladies and gents, no, that's a wrap. Thank you so much. So if you do not know, on the Bloemfontein campus, just to reiterate what Neo said, we are in the library, Center for Teaching and Learning. Follow the feed. How many of you have seen the feed, the CTL feed? Yes, just follow the feed, but do send an email on Blackboard go book your session. I hope after today we'll see many bookings. Just warn them that the flood is coming. They must prepare because the flood is coming. And now that you know, you can do better, right? You've heard the testimonials. I can guarantee you they are not on our payroll. Unlike our influencers, I see one of our influencers here. So yeah, Secure the Grad guys, we have influencers. Yay! So thank you so much, Nero. Hope to see you in the second semester's webinar again. Awesome. Let me know if there's nothing like that. So we're going to shift the conversation to Quats, and then we're going to move to the library services. So Charity, are you ready for us?
Yes, Lisa.
Awesome. I must move forward. Okay. So, oh, I need to ask you a question. You can see me moving to this chair. I already feel like I'm the guest that needs to be asked questions. So Charity, let's speak a little bit about Quats. Firstly, what does the acronym stand for? And how does Quats provide support to students? Thank you very much. Quats is spelled CUADS, Center for Universal Access and Disability Support. I know that people will normally think we're just focused on people or students with disability, but we're actually not. We want to remove that stigma. You know, people think, "Ooh, I'm not disabled, so I don't want to be associated with the people." No, it's an uncomfortable conversation, and then they miss out on the support that is available to them. So as Quads, what we do, we want to level the playing ground. You know, students must feel that when they are here, they can do whatever they want to. They will have support. For example, students that want to apply for a postdoc, I don't want to mention the faculty, but they didn't want to take the student based on the student's disability. And then we could say, look, the student achieved the AP score. Let the student come. And for the student to do specific things that, because the student is visually impaired. Okay. There are certain resources that will allow the student to be able to do what he or she can do. So we are there to level the playing ground for students who are differently able. Awesome. So what is the most common challenges that students experience, especially students that do have disabilities? What are common challenges and how does your center support them? Okay, the common challenges I would say is mostly based on the specific disability. We focus on all the disabilities that you can think of: blind, deaf, mobility impaired, learning difficulties, mental difficulties, because students are facing a lot of mental issues and they think they're all alone. Students with bipolar, schizophrenia, all those things. And then they're not aware that we support them. So we are there. Some of the students, for example, they will get an episode where they're hospitalized. Then they will come with medical support, and then we're able to support them with the medical support to say, no, due to this condition, the student must 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Please give the student concession, and then the lecturer will do that. Also with, for example, let's say your deaf students in class, the needs that they have, they will need a sign language interpreter. I think some of the students might have seen deaf students in their classes. We provide that service to make sure that when they attend a class, there is someone in class, interpreter to provide access to them. The other thing as well with challenges that students with visual impairment, for example, face, when a lecturer would teach, because the student can't see, this lecturer would say, you move this and you move it to that and you move this. Blind students sitting there don't know what is the this and the that. So we would advise lecturers to say, instead of saying move this, we would say, take the ball, put it in the bucket. So we're there to also be advisors to academic staff. We have students with ADHD, ADD, many undiagnosed. There might be a few of you in here. We had a student now that last week, someone referred her to Quads. She was in a state, she said, I'm struggling with my assignments. I'm saying the words here that it's not making sense. Sure. This student was referred to a colleague, did the testing and came back and she has dyslexia. So she's also a postgrad student.
So it's the sad part is she went through her studies first year, second year, not being diagnosed, thinking, oh, there's something wrong with me. Then that was actually a condition that could have been helped. So we are there for things like that. A student now, for example, she's got, they call it vocal paralysis.
Yeah.
So the challenge that she will have, the lecturer can't ask her to read something in class because she can't raise her voice. So then we come in and we would have a conversation with the lecturer to say, don't give her orals, rather give her something to write. So that's basically what we're doing. And also students with mobility impairments, buildings who don't have access. We are there to say, lecturer, please, is it possible to move this class to a venue that's more accessible? Or the lift, we are there as advisors to the different stakeholders.
Now, I know this is not a question that maybe we sent through for preparation, but as we have a conversation, I'm thinking many things happen. And I might not be born with a disability, but I have a temporary disability. So one example, I know with students that I'm also a residence head. Where are the Kestel people? There. So I'm also a residence head, and I know that people through illnesses, student might face a temporary disability. I had, for instance, in my previous race, a student that had amnesia for a while and they were struggling with memory. Is that something that the student can bring to QuADS, and how would you assist such a student?
Okay, because we have our own test and exam venue. The student can come with medical proof, of course, because we know students, you take chances. So come with medical proof, and then we accommodate you for the time that you need accommodation. We have a student that was in a car accident, can't sit. So the student can come to us and we put tables on each other so that you can stand and write. One that has to take a break, we do that. For all those accommodation needs, we have our venue. So that is also possible to accommodate temporaries.
So what would the process be? How would a student, so let's say the student is sitting here, please don't self-diagnose. But if you can relate to some of the things that we are talking about, and the student wants to reach out to QuADS, how would they do that? Can they email? Do they call? Do they walk up?
The base is just to come to our offices and just speak to someone to say, I have this. And then because in our offices, as staff, we are divided into specialists. So like I've mentioned before, I'm working with deaf and hard of hearing students. So that my colleague, when she hears what your problem is, will then refer you to me. We've got another colleague that works with students who are visually impaired, and one with the mobility, the categories that I've just mentioned. So it's best to come to our office and then we'll refer you to the relevant person.
All right, awesome. So Charity, we're going to circle back to you. Again, we're not going to take a Q&A now. We're going to first speak to the rest of our guests and then do a Q&A. That's what happens if all your devices are connected. I'm going to put my phone in flight mode. Apologies for that. So I want to encourage those of you online as well. Please put your questions in the chat. One of our technical team will make sure that we do read your questions. And those of you in the audience live with us, please keep your questions. Make notes of those questions because we will be opening up our Q&A segment soon. So Xolo, let's move over to you. So many of you might have seen Xolo during your library tours. Or at the circulation desk. I get to walk past every morning, and this morning I didn't see you.
Yeah, I'm in between level 5 to level 3 now.
Okay, so I thought, our guest is not at work. The webinar is not going to be cool. So Xolo, welcome. For you, let's talk about the library. So I think typically we think libraries just, we get there, we go study, we ask for a book, and that's it. Is that all right? But there's clearly more to the library services. What are the various services at the library?
Thank you very much for the question. Actually, it is library and information services, right? And most people really have that traditional idea of what a library is. It's just a place where you go and you just take a book and read. But we also have information services as well. So if you are in a faculty, you have to know who your information librarian is, because that is the person that will assist you. As the late Nell was talking about just the support, because the information librarians are there to give support to the students. Doesn't matter if it's undergrad or postgrad students. And in the first year, they usually give training to the first years on how to access books, online journals. And some of the students, that would be the last time they come to the library or to the library training. Then they come third year, they're like, I've got this assignment, I don't know how to. And then we ask them, have you attended the first year training? They don't remember anything that was in that training.
Like I was there 2007.
So that is why the information librarian then is there. So some of the students would come with an assignment, they don't know how to recognize or how to recognize what is needed from the assignment, right? The information librarian then is there to assist you to pick the keywords that would be suitable for what you're looking for, and also help you to find information resources. So that is what we have, and it's really, really important to speak to them, and also to make sure that you use them. So we also have online, you can just send them an email. You don't have to come to the library if you don't want to come to the library. Send them an email with any information resources that you would need, or if you've got an assignment, you can just tell them, then they will give you a training. So they give group trainings. If maybe in your class you would want training for the library, you just then call them and then they will come to your class, or you can come to the library as a group. They give one-on-one in-depth training. So if you come for a training, then it means that you can use that skill that they've taught you for other modules as well. So yeah, so I think information librarians, those are the services. We also have spaces in the library that that cater for students and also for seniors. We've got seminar rooms, we've got collaboration rooms, and recently we've got maker space for all the creatives and also people that would want to collaborate. That is going to be opening soon, so we're really excited about that. So we've got these spaces that students can use to secure the grid, I think, yeah.
So you spoke about a librarian, that each and every one of us can access librarian, and they're faculty based. So I'm thinking about now picking up from Neo's conversation. So I've got an assignment on, I'm thinking about one assignment that I had. We had to write a email. You go to switch off work mode. We had to write an assignment talking about the impact of how education and interest rates, so the financial economy on employment. And that was in an assignment in economics, and we had to write 3,000. You can hear some of the instruction was so vague. So as a student, I'd never, I mean, in statistics, we don't need to go visit the library. Well, you do, but you don't really do. If you have the formula sheet, you're good. So for the first time, I don't know what to do. And I remember trying to search the internet, and I put in the whole title in there, and it kicked out various resources, some that were not even related to the topic. I would read up on HIV and it said nothing about education. I would read up on this and it said nothing about the economy. So is this something that a librarian would help with, and what would the process be?
So yeah, that is on those one-on-one training, that is how they help you to identify what is needed from this assignment, right? And how to get relevant and accurate sources. So some would just go on Google Scholar, I think that's, yeah, where they would just, and they just type in the whole thing and they're not getting accurate information.
Yeah.
So then they help you how to identify from this what is needed and how to pick the relevant information, because there's a lot of information that is there, how to filter the information that you have received. So those are the trainings that they give also. So if you need other sources that they have, they also then can suggest, maybe don't use this, use this. Instead of books or many books, you can also go on journals and databases to support your assignment. Yeah.
So one last question from my side. How can students then get in contact with the librarians?
And when are they available?
Yes, so as
4 o'clock now.
So as I said, we a library and information services. So we actually, our services, that's the nice part. They are available 24/7. So we've got a library app that you can download, either on Google Apps or iStore, yeah, or the people that are using. I think the Huawei, they have a link where they can download. So on the library app, what you can do, you can search for the information yourself. There's also a link where you can ask a librarian. You can just ask a librarian and then they will attend to you as soon as they can. You can also go on databases or journals or any information that you would want to use on the app. You can also access your record. If you want to know if you've got any books, if you want to renew, let's say you forgot to come to the library during the day while it was open, you can then use the app to renew your books. You can also use the app if you want a book and it's not available at that moment, you can just request it on the library app. We also have online a service called SecureTheGrad. I'm sure most of you know. If you don't know, please come for the training, because that's where also you can then use all these services that I've mentioned. We also have where you can ask a librarian online. So that is in a way an email. So once they get the email, then they will respond back to you. Yeah.
I think today feels like that first day in class. I'm hearing a lot of where I'm just like, yo, how have I been here for close to 14 years and I didn't know. So as much as you're learning, I'm sitting here and I'm learning as well. And this is very useful. I've used a librarian before and it was like the best time of my life. It has made me a little bit lazy because I don't want to search for myself anymore because I'm very spoiled now. I literally just go to my librarian. We're now going to move over to a step, but before we move to Dinewo, I'm going to ask that Tabila, who is online, maybe introduces herself first. Tabila, if you can hear me, please introduce yourself to our audience and tell them what you do on the Kwakwa campus.
Hello, everyone. My name is Retabile Maruma, and I'm the coordinator of the A-Step on the Kwakwa campus. Sure. People have been saying they've been here since 2007. I can't tell you when did I start here, but I can tell you the cell phone called Motorola was in fashion at that time. Thank you.
It looks like some of our audience could hear you. We are struggling with the audio in the venue. But we're gonna make a plan. In the meantime, I'm gonna then ask Tabula, welcome with us. They can see on the screen. You guys can see Tabula on the screen, right? Yes, so we can see on the screen and we're gonna create a workaround. Dinewo, over to you. Tell us who asked the questions. You have introduced yourself already. All right. So Dinewo, you've highlighted to us that you work with A-Step. What is A-Step? And I was probably going to judge the audience if they don't know what A-Step is, but that's why they're here. What is A-Step and what do students do in tutorials?
Thank you, Vodia. So I never get to say what A-Step actually means or what it stands for. So I hope I don't get fired for this.
I'm Dinewo's boss. That's why she's This is performance management 101.
Pressure is on, but hi everyone. So A-Step stands for Academic Student Tutorial and Excellence Program. In the past few years, I think what we've tried to do is just to make sure that everyone knows A-Step, so that when you are looking for tutorial support, you know where to get us. A-Step was established in 2007. I'm not going to say the years, but it will expose you, Vodia. But A-Step is a teenager now. I just want to share with you guys that we are very proud of the program, mainly because we started in 2007 in just 2 faculties, which was humanities and health sciences. But at the current moment, I'm so happy to finally say this. We are operating and supporting students on all 3 campuses. So when you are sitting at the South Campus now, finally, we do have
trained tutors that are available so that they can be able to assist. We have tutors in all 7 faculties on the Bloemfontein campus and on all 4 faculties on the Glasgow campus. So what we do, I remember years ago in my performance management, I used to say, we do tutorials, and then everybody was like, do you make up, is it makeup tutorials? Is it what tutorials? So we do academic support. So we focus on academic tutorials for the students. And our main goal is to just make sure that every single student gets the opportunity to be successful in all the modules that they are taking. And at the current moment, we are supporting students from their first year until mainly the 3rd year. But I've seen in the past couple of years, especially from COVID, because we do have students that are already doing their postgrad studies, there is a couple of honor students that we've had the privilege to work with as well. So that is something that we are also proud of. Yeah. What else can I tell you about tutorials? I think one thing that the students need to be certain of is that all the tutors that come and stand in front of you when you are in a tutorial session, they are trained. And we have sifted through literally so many people that wanted to become tutors. And each tutor would have scored at least 65%, in the module that they are tutoring. So it is someone that was successful. It's someone that has gone through the module. And most of the time is someone that has also been in a tutorial session before they came and stood in front of you. So that is something that we can reassure you about, that it's not just, fly by night saying I can come and assist you or something like that. And currently, if I can share with you, the type of tutorials that we are offering is the group tutorials, which that's the ones that most of the students are familiar with. They take place face-to-face as well as online. Thanks to COVID, we know our way around Blackboard and online now. So we are confident in that. And then second of all, we have one-on-one catch-up sessions. I think that these are not very popular as yet, but I want to share with you guys that the step for you to be able to be in these kind of tutorials is you should have been in the class and you should have been in a tutorial session already and said, I have tried already, but it still doesn't work or I still don't understand. Then you will be able to put into the GPS call center and a tutor will be assigned to you. But also for the students that register late, if you were not able to maybe go to the first 2 classes or 3 classes, like Evodia has already mentioned, some of the faculties have already started with tests. The lecturers have already gone through the assignments and everything that you need to be working with there. So you can be able to call and someone will be assigned to assist you. Lastly, on the point of one-on-one catch-up sessions is that even if the module does not fall in the list of modules that we have in eStep, the nice thing is that we will make an effort to make sure that there is someone that is assigned so that you can do the one-on-one session. Then 3, we have telephonic tutorials, which is still through the GPS. Here, it's just when you have a key concept that you want the tutor to maybe explain to you really quickly, and then they can be able to do that for you. And then 4, we have the QAS tutorials where we work with Charity and her colleagues. So what happens here is that the student approaches the QAS office and then they will come to eStep and say that we need your trained tutors to do one-on-one sessions for the student. Then we'll identify someone that is willing, that is trained, and that has enough hours to work with the student, and they will do those sessions. Then finally, we have multilingual tutorials, which is our new baby. So it's an initiative where we are trying to incorporate multiple languages within the tutorial sessions, where the students are encouraged that you are more than welcome to speak other languages if this will be a vehicle that makes you successful, right? However, what you must keep in mind is that when all is said and done, the input will be done using any other language, so to Xhosa, Zulu. However, at the end of the day, we need to make sure that when you take your assignment or you take your test, you will be able to to write in English, or you will be able to understand everything else in English. I don't know if it's too soon to share this, however, we are looking at having a residence tutorial support program as well, which is another thing that we're excited about. I think that Ivodia is also excited to know that we are working on that. Yeah, so I think that's that with the information. I did share already with Bonolo. I think it will be on your screens where who it is that you can contact. Like I said, that in every single faculty, there is a coordinator that sits there that can be able to sit with you, that can be able to assign you, share the timetables with you. The nice thing is that now when you go on the CTL website, you click on SLAs and then you say academic student tutorial excellence program. And when you click at your faculty, you will find the list now. So this you put the list of modules that you can be able to be recruited in. And then if there's any more information for some reason that is not clear, you contact the relevant student learning coordinator, or we refer to them as TLCs, and they will be able to share the information with you. I think that's that, right? Now, just to speak to you a little bit about what you will find in the tutorials and what happens there. If you haven't been to a tutorial, come on, shame on you. But no, it's not shame on you. I just want to say that just like any other opportunity in life, you will get an opportunity work-wise and all those other things in life. I actually want to encourage students of the University of the Free State that having tutorial support and any other support from the university is an opportunity, and when it is there, take advantage of it, because it will not always be there, right? When you enter into the sessions, when you enter into the tutorial session, you will find someone that is trained that is going to work with you. We deal mainly with the content. So once you've been in class, your first line of contact after that will be the tutor. That will just be going through the work that you have already done in your classes. So we found that many times the students will say, I don't see anything new, you know, but I want to tell you that because it is supplemental learning, it means that you are going to further look at the concepts that the lecturer has already introduced to you. And I think that we all know that in a module, you work with notional hours, and whether you're going to be honest or not, I know that most of the time we leave the assignment or looking at the work until last minute. So if you've been to the class, the tutorial is actually an opportunity to make sure that you are actually seeing the work once again, you know, before you go and you sit on your own. So what we will do is that we'll have discussions about the content. Sometimes the lecturer and the tutor will put together worksheets that the students need to work on. You'll get to work in groups so that you get to know what other people are thinking as well, and so that you can be able to share ideas and also look at the concepts with your peers. Yeah, I think that's what about it. But ultimately, what we really want for you and why we are here is to make sure that once you leave the tutorial session and you are sitting on your own, you are able to successfully take your assessments and yeah, get like a nice 60, 50, 80. But I want to say to you, what you read, or what you guys, as per my line manager, I'll never be able to stick to the 7 minutes. But lastly, I just want to say that what you reap is really what you sow, what you reap, what you reap is what you sow. But what you put in is really what you will get out. And there's no way that you will give your 100% and then you fall on a 50. If anything, 100 will give you an 80 and 80 will give you a 70. It is like that or something more. So I just want to say, take this opportunity and work with it.
Thank you, Janelle. I think that was really useful. And I hope you are making notes and you are getting your questions ready for us. We're almost going to transition to our Q&A segment. I'm just going to ask Retabile, because Retabile, it sounds like Janelle took your stuff that you knew to say. But Retabile, I'm going to see if we are able. I hope this is not going to create feedback for our online audience. Retabile, are you able to speak to us about what is the difference? Is there a difference in how tutorials take place on the Kwakwa campus and also touch on what can students benefit from attending tutorials.
Hi again, Ms. Vodi, just to check in, can you hear me?
People at the back, you able to hear it, Abby? Yes, we can hear you. It's
Good.
so you must use your teacher voice.
In many cases, the colleagues must understand I have a very loud voice. I actually don't even use the mic. So it's very rare where I'm in situations where people can hear me. But on the Kwakwa campus, we have face-to-face tutorials, and we also have a hybrid in some modules where we have online tutorials. So if anything happens, we are prepared to cater for students for tutorials in both spaces, physical and the online tutorials. But also just to look into the benefits of what it means to be in the tutorials. Normally students would not just group themselves to form a discussion. And sometimes even if they group themselves, it's a problem if the blind is leading the blind. This is why we also have a tutor, which is someone that has completed the module at a certain percentage and can give guidance in the conversations. And these conversations benefit the students by increasing their academic performance in that specific module. Also, if you're not doing well in the module, you're really not interested in it because, you'll find anxiety vibes, happiness, and we all just want to be happy. And if you're doing well in a module, your interest in that specific module increases, right? So you're able to do better in it. Even the lady from the right side indicated earlier on, when you have an assignment, you'll be able to send the paragraph that is needed for you to send it there. But if you don't have any understanding of the module, then you struggle. And if you don't have anybody else to discuss the challenges of the module with, then it's also a challenge. And the tutorial space is where students collaborate with each other. This is another interesting thing you need to know about the tutorials and that students need to know about themselves. You already know so much about your module. And in the tutorial space is where you apply what you know. So in that space, nobody's going to stand in front of you and be a teacher. It's a space where you come in and engage. And because of the number of people that are in the tutorial spaces, it's usually very small as opposed to the large classroom where there's just way too many people and you're just anxious and not confident to speak in front of 200 people, 300 people, 150 people, but you can confidently raise your voice in the tutorial space. But because, like Dineo highlighted, our tutors are also trained. Because of the small space, you don't even necessarily have to always be speaking if you're not comfortable with speaking. There are other strategies that we apply in the tutorials, like you think pair share, or you write it down and give people time to reflect on it. So basically, this is a space where you are allowed to academically grow according to how you best learn as an individual. If you do well in something, honestly, it increases your confidence. If something, I know personally my confidence increases payday, right? We all know that because money brings happiness. And for students, doing well in your academics brings happiness. It increases confidence. You have some type of movement about you that says, yes, I'm going to sleep well today, right? Which is also just good for you. Another great thing about the tutorial space is that you develop relationships with people that ordinarily you would have not started having relationships with them. And people, I'm not talking about those relationships, and I'm talking about academic relationships. I'm talking about friendships. This is the space where we start seeing students having conversations about the modules amongst themselves, even without the tutor. If you had you shared this module and the same tutor maybe in the first year, we're realizing that some of the students, the relationship, they carry them throughout the academic year. And then these are the people that you discuss your content with for whatever module, be it sociology, be it economics, something, right? Like I highlighted earlier, tutorials are also a space of being active and participating and engaging with your learning. You're not going to learn anything by sitting and not being part of your learning. And the tutorial space is where you actively have to be intentional about being involved, have to be intentional about imparting knowledge and sharing with others, just so that at the end of the session, you know you benefited from the session and others benefited from that session. And also, it also allows a space where if there are certain things that you're not understanding, you can revert this to the tutor who can discuss it with the lecturer. And then the lecturer can either address this in the main classroom if it affects the whole class, but also the tutor can come back to you and give you feedback. So there's great benefits to having tutorials. It's also an organized space because the Office of the A-Step makes sure that there is a venue where you meet for those tutorials. So you don't have to go around campus looking for an available venue for you to discuss. You know, that is also time consuming. We do that, leave that to us. We organize that and we just give you the time slot and you sign up and you show up and you secure the grad. Thank you, Evodia.
That is very useful. Thank you so much, Chachabi. Hey, it looks like I'm gonna have to give bonuses end of this year. The A-Step team is really doing well. So the two of them get paid to sell this program to you. Tabile and Dineo, I'm not gonna tell you how much they get paid, but they get paid a lot of money to tell you all of this. What we've done also is we've invited one of our students who's now, he'll tell his story, he'll tell you who he is, but also want to highlight, and sometimes does get, it feels like I'm so low here. It sometimes does get tricky, especially for the introverts, to make friends, right? To establish groups. You don't know who to talk to. You don't want to be that weirdo in class that just walks up to someone and says, hey, let's form a study group. And I don't know how many of you don't get weird vibes when the lecturer says it's a group assignment. Yeah. It's like, oh, how am I even gonna start? Who am I gonna do? I don't even like talking to strangers, you know. So if you're not like Evodia, it is even for us extrovert, like I'm not even in the middle. I'm like extreme extrovert. So even for extroverts like me, it is challenging to have to be put in a new group. I loved COVID because and my colleagues can attest maybe, if we are like in a seminar, online seminar, and then they do the breakout groups. And I'm like, especially if we're with American colleagues, I'm just like, I'm in Africa and the internet is down. Then I exit because I just think, yo, what am I going to say? And I'm already panicking about what am I going to say? I'm going to have to introduce myself. What if I say the wrong thing? Can any of you relate? And really, tutorial spaces, as Ritatia said, are one of the best spaces to take away those limitations of now I'm going to have to introduce myself. You learn, and guess what? Some of the people that I met in the tutorials are still my friends now because I was also weird on making friends at varsity. I was that weird girl who's always serious and always working. So yeah, so I really want to encourage you, if you struggle to make friends, and I'm talking academic friends, or friends, because you start off academically and you end up being friends. Who knows? You might just get. Just putting out there. I met my husband at university, just by the way. So 7 years married this year. Don't ask me how it's going. That's not the point of the webinar. It's going to children later. Anyway, so I want to give over to Tato. Tato is going to introduce himself. Tato is here to also talk about his experience in A-Step. Over to you, and then after that, we're going to move to the Q&A segment.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Tato Musolozani. I'm a student in education. So my journey with A-Step obviously started as a student. You don't only become part of A-Step when you're a tutor. Obviously, if you have attended any tutorial module or any tutorial session, you're also part of A-Step. Yeah. You can't hear me. Oh, or should I stand up?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
fine. So I was saying, obviously my journey with A-Step did not start me being a tutor. It started as a student. So luckily enough, the tutor that I was attending most of my modules was someone that I stayed with at the rest from Zolopile. So I asked the guy that, how do you become a tutor? What's going on there? He told me the stuff. So I was also like, is there money there? So yeah, he told me that, yeah, we get paid. So I was like, NSFAS is not enough. So what do you have to do? So he told me that now you need to pass the module above 65% and what and what. So luckily I got to be part of the program. But when I got there, I realized that it's not only about money. Fairly you get money, but the problem is that you also gain skills, because to speak in front of people is not easy, guys. Also, you get to facilitate on Blackboard, you get to see the other side of the Blackboard, not the ones that you are when you attend sessions, and there's a skill that you develop on the program. So that's why you realize that, okay, I send emails regularly, like, and other than before. So it's those things. For instance, if you apply for a bursar or something, you use email. So when you're a tutor, you regularly use the email. So you develop those skills in the process. So there's so many skills when you're a tutor. So I heard there's a guy who's doing first days one, there's one person there. So maybe you guys are questioning the relevancy of us talking about tutorials. You can also become a tutor, and if you're doing third year, you're also offering tutorials for third years. And actually developing through the ranks of a step. I became intern this year, so I'm working the other side. So in conclusion, what I'm trying to say is that for those who already have ambitions of becoming tutors, there's so many skills that you can develop there. And if there's someone who's not attending tutorials, do attend those tutorials, because those sessions are not only content-based. You can ask your tutor questions personally, unlike the lecturer. The lecturer will just come there. It's like they have 10 minutes, just scroll through the slides. So at least with tutors, you get to have those sessions where they elaborate the content. So with that being said, do participate, guys.
I could see in the interview that Tato was a tutor. He had a crisp white shirt on, and he was ready. It's like he was so ready for the online interview. And we also have a Kwakwa voice. We also have one of our Kwakwa students who also wants to speak about their journey. Thanks for reminding me. All right, are they on the screen? Let's make sure we spotlight them. If you're ready for us, go ahead. Maletsatsi. Maletsatsi, are you ready for us? Maletsatsi. Looks like we can't hear Maletsatsi. So while we wait for Maletsatsi to get on, let's start with our Q&A segment while we wait for Maletsatsi. So you've heard from Quartz, you've heard from the Library Information Services. You've also heard from A-Step, both Bloemfontein and Fort Worth campus. What are your questions? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Who's my 1? Where's my 2? Where's my 3? Where's my 4? Okay, so we're going to take, that's the first round. If you didn't, second round, 5, 6, is that a hand? 7, 8. All right, you saw. Where's my 4? 5. You are 4. Where's 5? 6. You are 6, 7, and 8. And then you'll be 9. Is Maletsatsi ready for us? Okay. So please get your questions ready. Let's hear from Maletsatsi. Maletsatsi, if you're ready, go for it.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Like I've been introduced, my name is Maletsatsi Mamba. Just like Tado, I started as a tutor here at A-Step. And to tell the truth, it's been a fantastic journey. I was inspired by one of my tutors when I was a student back in the days. She was so good to an extent that I saw myself in her. I was like, you know what? I want to be a tutor as well. And then as time went on in 2019, I applied to become a tutor, and I did so well to an extent that I got the award for the best collaborative tutor. And I was so proud. That was one of my proudest moments. I've grown as a person like a lot in so many ways. I've developed better communication skills. I've developed team work. And yeah, it's been such a great and a wonderful journey so far. Okay, yeah, I left A-Step for some reasons and went to UFSS, but you know what? The calling was so loud that I had to come back to A-Step again. Hence, I'm here, and I'm here as like an intern at the moment, you know. So what I can encourage the students is that attending tutorials is very beneficial. Not only do you get to benefit academically, but like myself, who knows, you'll be inspired to do great things. Maybe see yourself as one of the tutors as well. So your academic performance, it improves. So keep attending the tutorials. They are there to help you, to support you. So use them to the fullest. So that is all I can share with you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the wonderful testimonial, Maletsatsi. Dina also didn't mention that she's now sitting as the head of the program on the Bloemfontein campus, and she was in the same position as Tato. Where's Tato? Okay. Oh, sweet. Yeah, as Tato. So people go up the ranks here. So for those of you who do aspire to work for the university or to work, and we know that many graduates, quite a number of graduates get unemployed after they graduate. And you can see how our tutors easily get employed. It's not a guarantee, but there are opportunities for others. Let's open our Q&A segment. Number one, if you are ready. Where's my number one?
Hi, everyone. My name is Ntanta. I'm a first year. And yeah, everything is just so yo. So besides the library training sessions, so I heard, oh yeah, regarding that, when and where are they facilitated? And then a follow-up question is, besides that, what else is there for us first years?
Olera, do you want it? So are there any other library related questions? I know I'm confusing my order, but I want us to clump all the library related questions. Okay, after that, it's going to move to you.
Hi, my name is Ntabi again. I just wanted to ask, where about the collaboration rooms in the library?
Right, collaboration rooms. Give to any date.
Hi, my name is Snay. I just wanted to know, my supervisor told me that I should go to the librarian and ask her for in-depth search on specific variables that I'm searching for. I just want to know, can we do that without like attending any collaborative sessions? And also, what is the maximum amount of variables that we can search at a time?
Got that. All right. Other library question there and then yeah.
Hey everyone, Kifila here. So I wanted to ask with regards to the off-campus access for the library. I struggle with that a lot. Even yesterday, my friend tried to access the off-campus. You click on that click here.
Yeah.
But then it keeps on redirecting you to, I think, Microsoft something, or
Yeah.
then you try to log in, it doesn't go in. So the best thing is just to come on campus, download material and then go back home. But then what's the easiest way to get material while you're off campus?
Do you remember all of it?
I actually like wanted to ask about like SecureTheGrad because it's my 3 years right now, not knowing what's SecureTheGrad.
So let's allow Astrologue to then respond, and then we're going to take other questions.
Okay, let me start with GovSeCat. So GovSeCat is a GovSec catalog, right? So the catalog is all the information resources that the university has. So these include books, they include DVDs, they include journals. So when you use SecureTheGrad, you search what we have. So if you're looking for a specific book or a specific information resource, it will tell you exactly the location of that resource. So sometimes it is at Kwakwa campus. So what you do, you can just request that information resource. It comes to Bloemfontein campus or to South campus, wherever you are. You can request at the library. It also just tells you if it is available at that moment. So sometimes it will say check shelf, sometimes it will give a due date. Then it means that that resource that you're looking for is out at the moment. You have an opportunity to also request it back. So when then the other student returns it, you are next in line. You get an email to say that the book that you were looking for is now available. You can come and collect it. So you can also request on the library app as well. Does it make sense? Yes. So we.
Like the cat, like meow.
No, it's just a Govsi catalog. Yes. It's like a 30-minute training as well. You can come at the circulation desk. They can just train you there and there, or you can go to the information librarian as well. So with the off-campus login, I know a lot of students don't use the right way of logging in. You actually, the same way that you are logging into Blackboard, that's the same way that you would be logging into the off-campus login or through the information resource, right? So you click on the red click here. So with us, you don't use UFS for live, you use UFS.ac.za. So it's a student number at ufs.ac.za. And please make sure that it does not, because whatever gadget you are using, it will save the password, right? So then students will just take that saved password and click it in, remove everything and type it in. And if you've got any problems, you can always come to the library. And make sure that you also, if you're having a problem in your laptop, you can try in your cell phone, because sometimes you get that the problem is not really with your login, but the gadget that you are using. Okay, I hope that I answered that point. Yes. For the first years, we have trainings. I think they are available, like the dates will be available on your Blackboard, I think under organizations, but you can just come and then find out the dates that will, that trainings will be given. It's 2 trainings. So the first training is on SecureTheGrad, how to search for information resources using SecureTheGrad. Then the other one's how to go about searching for database. So that is more in depth of how to search for articles, how to go into different databases that you can use for your assignment. And also, I think the other question was, the collaboration rooms. So at the moment, the library is under construction. So we want to make the space as beautiful as it can, just also to accommodate all the needs that have been rising over the years. Because as we said, the library is not really like a traditional library that we used to know. So now we want to cater to the needs that are here at this moment. So the offices at level 5 are currently the collaboration rooms at level 5 are currently being used as offices at the moment for staff members. But then the construction will, I think, end of April. Please do not quote me on this. That's what we've been told, end of April. So then you can book online, or you can come to the library to book for those collaboration spaces. Then you get to use that for those hours. For postgrad, we have the digital scholarship where you can also book online for that. They've got beautiful facilities. If you want to collaborate with guys at Kwakwa, they've got video conferencing facilities. So it's really, really a beautiful space that you can use as well. And then I just want to say that with the librarians, so with your information librarian, so they give you like specific, that's why it's important to go to your faculty librarian, because they know what is needed in your faculty. For instance, with law, they would use a different database than humanities. So they give you specific ones where to search. So it is important that maybe you go to your specific librarians, then they can show you how to go about in getting what you are looking for. Yeah, I think I answered all the questions.
Good is good. There's a follow-up.
Are there spaces in the library for like specifically for postgrad. I remember seeing a science like postgrad with only or something.
Yes.
Is that
Yes. So level 7 and level 6 are currently under construction. So level 6 is a postgrad unit. So you just use your card to enter there. Because we know with first years, they can be excited to be in the library. And with the postgrad, they focusing on research. They don't want any disturbances. So that space is catered for them. Also, the information librarians for it's actually research support librarians. They will also be located at level 6. So at the moment, they are at level 5 because of the construction that is happening. Yeah.
Our second round of hands. Let's take so all my people that had their hands up, we're done with you, right? So we have the gentleman over here, Albakwe. Yes, we have Albakwe. We have Albakwe. We have the gentleman right there at the back. And we have, can I skip you for now? I promise I'll circle back. We have Albakwe. We had someone this side. We had, okay. Your questions relate to quads. Where are other quads questions? So 1, 2, 3. All right. And then the rest are 4 quads as well. And then the rest are A-step.
Right. Hi again. The name is Albakwe. I think I should start my question with a quote because I don't want the question to sound very political. So the quote goes that the issue is not that people are uneducated. The issue is that people believe what they taught and they are uneducated enough that they don't ask. Right? So basically my question is that the squads have a specific section or rather a specific department which works with housing and residence. Because I think there's an issue, maybe guess from my residence specifically, with people with disabilities. Let's say somebody's unable to, is struggling to walk, right? There's academic spaces that we have within the residence, but it becomes a bit of a problem for them to be able to kind of reach those spaces. And I feel it wrong to say, let a person come live in Villa while you know that the academic spaces on like floor 3 or whatever. But when you go to residences like Solo Bailey, they have maybe computer labs and study logs in floor 1. So I want to know whether is there a specific department in quads that works with HRA to make sure that people with disabilities actually have relevant study spaces or academic spaces in which they can actually work and be comfortable in those spaces.
Let's just get a second question. So we've got 3 questions, right? 5. Okay. But here.
Hi, my name is Yamama. I just wanted to ask about the learning disabilities. So do you guys diagnose like a person who doesn't know if they have learning disabilities, or you have to go to a doctor first and then come to you guys for assistance?
Similar question with mental health. Hi, I'm Todva. For mental health, if you've seen a practitioner before and you suspect yourself, who do you then talk to at quads to talk about something like that?
Hi, I'm Goblin. So I have a question. I saw somewhere that as you have mentioned, that you guys work with temporary impairment. Then now I have a broken arm. How do you guys support us how will you support me in terms of writing a test or typing an assignment?
Okay, my question is actually for both quad and A-step. So it relates to what Albakwe said. I hope I get the name right. I got the name right. So let's say, for example, there's a student who's hard of hearing or student who's deaf. I hope I said it right. Yes. So the student maybe needs assistance with, okay,
the setting is like this, they go to class and then there's an interpreter. The interpreter interprets whatever the lecturer is saying. But then when it comes, for example, to things like an assignment or anything, but then do you guys maybe then organize a tutor and somebody from Quad can help and unpack the assignment of the student, or maybe you collaborate with what's this WriteSite, the tutor services, and then somebody from Quad. Like, how does it work when somebody needs some assistance?
Perfect. So let's take the questions and then move to a step. Okay, thank you very much for the questions. We are not a university on our own as well to work with different stakeholders. So a student who will need help with the next assignment is like any other student will go to the relevant department. And then a student, for example, who is deaf, who will need to go to a step to CTL, will then book an interpreter to go with. But the student will use exactly the same facilities as someone who does not have a disability. Regarding someone in quads who can assist with someone who's got a mental health, our colleague is Musa Moriane, mm@ufs.ac.za. We spell the surname Moerane, and then she will be the relevant person to assist. Apologies for that. Regarding our learning disability, yes, because we are not professionals, you have to study to diagnose someone. We can refer you to the relevant person. That person gets you tested, give you a document to say this person, the dyslexia allows for 15 minutes extra per hour, or whatever the accommodation needs is. The person will need a scribe or whatever, then we can assist in that regard. With HRA, like I said before, we work with them. They will ask us, so the student has got a mobility impairment, what do you advise? What's the accommodation need the student has? Should the student stay on the first floor or whatever floor? Then we will say, we ask the student, what is your need? The student will say, I will need to stay on the first floor, for example. Others will say, it doesn't matter. I don't want to be singled out. I will get to wherever floor. So we have the conversation. We're not assuming that the person can't. They must come and tell us. We are there to assist them. I remember now someone narrated a story, sorry for off-ramping a bit, where in KZN, the student applied to be an occupational therapist. One of the requirements is that you must not have a disability, and the person had one arm. So when the person came to register, the lecturer was like, and then like, I didn't even know that I'm disabled, although she doesn't have an arm. So it also depends on the person's perspective, how the person will act. The question about the temporary disability, what was that again?
So, say I have a broken arm and I have a face to write and an assignment to someone. How do I go about it? Writing a test or submitting an assignment?
Okay, writing a test, you come to us with your medical certificate or the document, and then would state that you have a broken arm. Like I said, we know how students are. You will find someone that will get his friends cast and just put it up. So we need that, and then we can organize a scribe for you, someone that will write the test for you, or it will depend having a conversation with you and also with the lecturer. With the typing of assignment, we have the need now. Someone indicated that they need that. We're struggling because it's quite a pricey thing.
Yeah.
Do you have someone type the assignment? But conversations with, so we can even ask for extension from a lecturer to say, okay, because of this condition, rather give the student extension for X amount of days. Yeah, so we have a conversation and we assist accordingly.
So those who are blind, how do you support them? Do we give them hearing devices that connect them to the radio?
Do we give them hearing devices to do?
That connects them to the radio.
Thank you for the question. They get O&M training, mobility training. So the mobility instructor will come in the beginning of the year, get the student's timetable, see the person stays, for example, at Villa. The first class is at Stabilis, there's quads, and the person will literally train the person. You get out of the door, you feel the ground. Okay, it's a path. Then you tap, you feel there's, for example, a dustbin. When you tap the dustbin, you know you turn right. So those are all the mobility instructions the students get in the beginning of the year or also second semester.
Let's get all the A-step questions. Do you know also must speak also to the A-step question, right? Oh, Charity actually addressed it.
Yes.
Okay. The gentleman right there at the back. Itumele. Who's Itumele? It's here. Itumele. Sorry. In the library. Next to the gallery, art gallery. So you see where the security desk is? If you enter via the parking lot, literally next to the security desk. Yes. I just saw this morning, I'm like, it's a small thing. Must get this.
My question in relation to steps that like, let's say I'm a first year student and I've got an interest of being a tutor in the second year. So what I expressed last year is that our application open in a point whereby we as first years, the results are not all out. Then I'm unable to apply. So I was asking if that can change, if at least application be open after all the results have been accomplished.
I just want to ask about when are the applications opening, and also do you only have to have like over 65% on that particular module that you are now tutor in, or like is it just like an average of all your modules for the year?
Any other A-step related questions, Gautlin? Online, online. What a funny guest.
So it was mentioned that in order for you to be a tutor, you have to pass with 65% for the module. So I want to ask, even if you pass with 80%, you said you will get training, right?
Yes.
So when you go and be a tutor, or I don't know if you guys interview tutors, but my question is, how do you know that the person who passed with 80% or even 75% they understand the content? Because you can pass the module, but do you understand the content to teach it or to be a tutor?
Good question. Would you like to know?
So, I wanted to ask about the salary. Minimum.
Good question. You've got your eye on the bag. All right, thank you. And that's, okay, we're gonna have to take someone who has not asked the question because I have to wrap up our Q&A. We literally have 5 minutes before we have to get the webinar done.
Hello, I heard you mentioning about the one-on-one or individual tutoring. So how do I get to book for it if I need one?
You know would give me the salary question. And the 80%. Guess what? We have the links ready.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the questions. So online, the first question that we had was related to telephonic tutorials. So I'm just going to mesh that up with one-on-one. Like I said, we run those tutorials through the GPS call center. You call 051-401-9111, and then you will wait until you get to option 2. Then once you're in option 2, the last option you will choose is option 4. But you just listen carefully, and then you will be directed to a success coach. Then they will take your details, your needs, and then once they've done that, you will be matched with a tutor that will do the one-on-one or the telephonic tutorial for you. Then the second question that was asked was about the first year applications. Unfortunately, there's a lot of administration that goes behind selecting the tutors, the process that takes about 2 to 3 months sometimes. So what happens is that you are more than welcome to apply for the module. And then if you are still in time before the selection is completed, we do have access to everyone's marks. So either way, whether you've already completed the module a year ago, 2 years ago, we still go back to verify what the final mark was. So if maybe some of the people in the past have said, I've only written the exam, but I don't have my marks as yet, and we say that doesn't make a difference. So don't worry about that. We will check for ourselves. And also, I think one of the questions was, is it just a 65 and then you're good? No, there's a lot of other things that we look at, but Evodia will go into those. Then yeah, you take the salary. Right?
I don't even know how much people get pensions. I just click accept payment, process payment. So just around what you asked, Kathleen, so if you apply for a tutor, let me see first who has applied to become a tutor in the room. Okay, you have to complete a series of questions. So we ask you a series of questions like, have you assisted someone previously? We give you a couple of cases that you have to respond to. And that's really our way to see whether you understand the process of learning and how would you act in a typical tutorial scenario. And obviously the first criteria is the marks, because the indication that someone knows the module is how they have performed in the module. And then obviously we look at your thinking process, because that's very important. How do you answer questions? Because one of the things you're going to do a lot in the session is answer questions, but also facilitate the learning process. So we gauge that through how you answer the questions in the online applications, and then we do our selection. Then everyone comes to do a shortlisting process. The students with the higher marks, I must say, are the students that do get first priority in terms of shortlisting. So we look at that module that you're going to tutor, but then we look at your overall trend. How do you perform overall? Does the trend look like this? Does the trend look like this? Does the trend look like that? Because we do know that sometimes you do have a bad year or a bad semester, right? But did you pick up after that? So just because you failed 1 or 2 modules doesn't mean we disqualify you, but we look at what is the overall trend that is displayed in your performance, and then we shortlist. So the top performers do get the top spots in terms of shortlisting, and yes, they do get interviewed. So we do interview our tutors because communication is one of those key competencies when you want to become a tutor. But also we do not disqualify you if you are not the best of communicators. That's why we have training. So our tutors will tell you, Tato will tell you that, and Itumeleng in the back who says she was a tutor, will tell you that the whole year, basically, the tutors are in training. So we start you off, we kick you off with the basics so that you're able to do your first session. And thereafter, there's series of training almost every quarter. So every quarter, there are workshops because we want to make sure that we take out, you unlearn the bad habits, because we tend to facilitate like the lecturer we admire. So usually the tutors will plan. And if the session, and they plan for 20 people to pitch, then all of you pitch in that session, and you see how the tutor panics, and guess what they do? They default into the setting of who's that lecturer that they admire best, and then they start teaching instead of facilitating. So we make sure that we train them on how to handle different scenarios. And I want to say the tutors are they're not perfect. So we do have tutors that are bad, but they're very few. And those are the people who take a chance, they just in it for the money. The money is important, but then that's the only reason why they're there. And you can see it in how they tutor. They're there, don't care, any questions, and then they're out. But majority of our tutors care about the session. They are prepared. Just to tell you, they have to submit a session plan to tell us what they're going to do in the tutorial. That session plan gets assessed by the teaching and learning coordinator. And then you as a student, when you take your electronic register, there's a section at the bottom that we ask you to rate the tutor and to leave a comment. So that we make sure that we don't leave bad tutors in the system and that you as a student experience good tutorials. So when you get that evaluation, please complete it. Otherwise, you are sitting with bad tutors in the system. All right. And then salary, we have a fixed salary. So for all the tutors who do 3 hours and above per week, We have a fixed rate of 80, 90. There's an increase, but so around 97 rands an hour. And then we do that. So we calculate a salary for you, then you get a monthly salary. But if you do less than 2 hours, we pay you a bit of a higher fee. It's over 116 rands. 160, and you might ask, what's the difference? So with the fixed payment, you do not have to absorb the risk of no work, no pay. So let's say, for instance, there's a strike or there's a test and the lecturer cancels the tutorial. You get paid anyway, because guess what? We've already calculated that into your salary. But those who do ad hoc, so less than 2 hours, unfortunately for them, it's no work, no pay. So in the event that there's a strike during the day you were supposed to tutor, you can't claim those hours. And that's why we put in a risk calculation on your salary so that we can balance off the equation right there. So, but it's decent money, I just want to say. But I can tell you, as Tato said, you become such a better person from tutoring. I got my job from tutoring. I've been working now in university for 14 years. I'm the assistant director for student learning success, and I started in a statistics tutorial class in 2009. Yes.
I just want to say that Evodia mentioned people taking chances. I want to tell you now that if you've never been in a tutorial, you are not going to be a tutor. So that is one of the things that we also look at. But I want to encourage you also student university involvement, being in other initiatives around campus. I've seen that those people tend to really care about the student and put in more work. So that's also a plus and a bonus.
Ladies and gents, you have been an awesome audience. And that is the end of our webinar. We do have prizes to give away, as we have promised. But before we let you go, we would like you to please complete the feedback for us. You can hand it out as you leave. Alternatively, do we have a QR code? Okay, we have a link that will display on the screen. I hope you can see. If you can't see, just come to one of the devices. You can complete using the link. We want to hear, was this a hit? Was it a miss? Was it almost there? And where can we improve so that when we do another webinar, we are on excellent standard. And I'm quickly going to announce our winners for today. Who's Toba? T-O-B-B-A. Yes, you are one of our winners. Itumele, Jaden. Who's Jaden? Is Jaden in the room or online? How about are you, Jaden? I'm also able to have a tabby. And then we have Daniel. Daniel left. You'll take Daniel's prize. Oh no, I didn't take Daniel's prize. Okay. And then we have Gotland. Congratulations. And then we also have Dimpo. We have Puleng Molopi. Puleng is online. And we also have Tembile Ngomezulu, who's also online. Congratulations to all our winners. What are they winning, Bonolo? You are getting Kofsidan meal vouchers today. And if you come visit us on the 17th in the afternoon, you'll also get priority tickets for our own day in the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, please complete the link. Before we let you go, I want to say to our guests that are online as well as in the venue, you have been awesome, awesome guests. Have they been awesome guests? Yes. I'm not convinced. Have they really been awesome guests? All right, so let's give them a huge round of applause. Thank you so much. And remember to open, don't click delete on the SecureTheGrad email. While you're completing your evaluation, I want to tell you, giving you a sneak preview in terms of what's coming next. We have a huge campaign at the University of the Free State called GPS at UFS. It's not GPS like the turn left. It is kind of, but it also stands for Graduation Positioning Support. And what that means is we want to make sure that we support you in your journey towards securing your grad and that you make graduation in minimum time. So if you are meant to graduate in 3 years, we want to help you in your journey to getting that degree in 3 years' time. So if you see an email that says GPS at UFS, you must know that it is us. One of the projects that's kicking off next week is called Track Your Success. What is Track Your Success? Our success coaches will call you. If you get a call, it's not a scam. If they say, hi, I'm a success coach, it's not a scam, it's for real. It's someone that's just looking at your marks. They're looking at your registration. Did you register for the right modules? Did you register for the right credits, amount of credit? So if you get that call, if you get that email, please respond. It's someone that's assigned to you to make sure that you reach graduation. All the best. We will see you on the 17th. Not all the other announcements, but it's fine. Thank you. How are you? Not be fine. Yeah, people. Then I got one to say, but people just What do you mean? I got one. And I wrote about your name, but then in the list, they said, I was asking about it. That was the annual connection.
So like I.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Can I?